Those of you who don't know, the Lord's been taking her to heaven for several years and showing her things and bringing her back and allowing her to share with us. So let's just welcome Kat Kerr.
Most of the videos I look at are a little out there, but this week, I think we take a look at someone, and I wouldn't often say this, someone who is absolutely batshit crazy. Stick around to the end of this video as we discover what it's actually like in heaven. Hello, I'm the Skeptic. I watch videos on YouTube that make extraordinary claims, whether that's evolution is fake or atheism is wrong, but mostly the claim that a God is real and then explain why I don't accept their position. Before we start today's video, hit the like, the subscribe and the bell. That would be fantastic. I've heard the name Kat Kerr a few times, and her name is always followed by utter confusion. Here is a lady that has apparently been to heaven several times. That's right. Been to heaven. The idea of an afterlife would be great, though it's taken many years to come to terms with the fact that there more than likely isn't one. Maybe Kat could change our minds. Woohoo! Like going on vacation somewhere, you get the advice of someone that's actually been there, right?
So I want to encourage you to understand that your family still loves you. No one has forgotten you. They're making plans for you. In this little vapor of time that we're in right now on this earth, use it powerfully.
What a way to start off a video. I'm hooked. Though when I say hooked, I just mean that I'm hearing things that I'd want to hear. I'm not entirely sure what background Kat has, but this is bringing back memories of when I would go to spiritualist readings and just hear phrases that other folks would want to hear. No one's going to jump on board with someone that says, your family hates you and can't remember you. They don't have any plans for you because they think you're garbage. We're only on Earth for a finite amount of time, so why bother? Just call me Dog Durr, the absolute opposite of Kat Kerr.
To love, to forgive, and to be willing and obedient. Understand, John, his last message, love one another.
Just an FYI, you don't need a person in a book to tell you what to do. If the only reason you are kind to someone is because it says so in a book, then you're not really a very good person.
That should be the thing we do the most. Amen. Don't forget to love. If you get a choice, forgive people who are bashing you. When you do that, it really does wound the demons.
Oh, great. Another one that thinks demons are real.
That demon that was in control of the rest of them and that girl started whining on each other.
Ugh, I've actually never been less convinced that a story happened. Demons whine on each other and bash on people. Demons sound completely non-threatening.
And it is our time to torment the demons.
Torment beings that haven't ever been proven to be real. I guess after you've attempted to torment demons, you'll go and see about throwing tomatoes at Bigfoot or consider in Loch Ness just to annoy the Loch Ness Monster. All will be equally as effective.
Say it's our honor and privilege to torment the demons.
And it's my honor and privilege to watch videos like this and commentate on just how stupid the words you're saying actually are.
And then they gave me their daughter's phone number. He and his sister were really close together. And so I called and just spoke to her for a few minutes. And then about, I don't know, it was probably a year later, she called me. She goes, today is my birthday, my 30th birthday. And I just wanted to know, does my brother even remember me? Does he still think about me? Because we had planned a big celebration on this day. We didn't know he'd go home. So she's on the phone to me. God caught me up to heaven.
Hello? Hello, Kat? Are you still there? She's just vanished. I don't know. I was talking and she's... Oh, hello? Kat? 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 Oh, jeez. I'm paying by the minute for this shit. So you just got called to heaven? How on earth would you prove that? Or is just you saying it what we should accept as the truth? And how does this happen? Does God only call you up to heaven when there's a paying client asking a question that could easily have a made-up answer to it? Of course, the answer is going to be yes. Someone who gets paid to talk to supposed dead people isn't going to say things that would annoy you and stop you coming back for repeat business.
And I saw her brother standing at a portal. This is going to sound wild, but it doesn't matter.
More wild than the claim you travelled to heaven? Don't worry about explaining how on earth that happened, Kat. You carry on and explain how this bit is wild.
He was throwing Cheetos at her from the portal.
Either Kat has a brand deal with Cheetos or there's some kind of exclusivity deal with heaven. How on earth did they set that up? Cheetos have got some splaining to do.
And he was singing the worst rendition of Happy Birthday I've ever heard. And this is the guy who was singing for a living, right?
So the sister told you it was her birthday, so it's no surprise she'd want to hear that he he was singing happy birthday. She also said it was her brother. We all know that siblings like to annoy each other, so singing happy birthday badly sounds exactly like what a sibling would do.
Like, man, that's awful. That's awful.
You're telling me. Making up things to make someone feel better just so you can feel good about taking their money, that is truly awful.
And then God sends me back, and she's still going on the phone. I said, wait a minute, wait.
Hang on, the client's talking this entire time. You started daydreaming and imagining what you could say to her. This really is poor customer service. And you still claim to have been to heaven. You've not said how you got there.
I gotta tell you, hey, I don't know what you can think about this, but I gotta tell you what I just saw.
A Cheetos brand deal. I'm going to be rich.
I saw your brother, and he was throwing Cheetos over the portal at you. And she starts to yell and scream. She goes, That's Ron. That's still my brother. That's still him. She said he would have run by, what do you want, Cheeto throwing, whatever.
Now, how can we verify that this is exactly how the conversation went? Kat actually could have said that your brother was throwing something at you, maybe even food, because food is less likely to her, and the Mark, we're going to call the sister the Mark now, would confirm it by saying exactly what was thrown. This is basic cold reading, and it's a fraudulent way to tell people what they want to hear just so you can take their money and buy really awful neck scarves.
She had her fro too. So she said his greatest thing to do was run through the room and throw as many Cheetos in her fro that would stick there.
Thus confirming that kids are little shits to each other. We've all been there. Nothing remarkable about this, Kat. Nothing at all.
And she said he did it all the time, and I was so irritated, but now it's the most precious thing in the world that you told me that, because I know he didn't forget me. This was on her birthday, remember?
You know, this would be far more believable if, whilst on the phone, the Mark actually had Cheetos appear in her hair out of nowhere.
And I said, I don't know how to tell you this, but he sounded the worst I have ever heard. For someone who's anointed to sing, she said, was it the worst happy birthday you ever heard in your life? I went, yeah. She said, he did that every year too.
Not surprising, since kids do that all the time anyway. I'm not blown away at all.
So she was so blessed to find out that he had not changed.
Yeah, it was very kind of you to tell her what she wanted to hear. You're a good person. I mean, as long as you don't take any money for it.
He still remembered her. He was still himself, and she was so blessed by that.
I need to start charging for things by speaking to Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe and telling folks what they want to hear. The Mark literally got nothing from it, other than some words that she needed to hear. Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe, leaf be upon her, says that you, dear viewer, are a great person and can accomplish anything you want. Now that'll cost you $2 in super thanks. Thanks, Lisa. You're going to make me rich.
Heaven's army was designed, created, and made, every one of them, unique and different, but they are fierce.
Throw two random sometimes too out I make and like word sentence there, eh? I'm sorry, I meant sometimes I like to throw words out there and make a random sentence too. I'm not entirely sure what she just said then. I'm not entirely sure she understood what she just said then.
They have one job. The ones under Gabriel have many different jobs.
So which is it? One or many? Make up your mind, Kat.
Many different positions to do many different things. But Michael is over one specific part, and that is the army. They have a headquarters, they have barracks.
This had better not be Kat's way of waging a heavenly war on Earth. I'm not prepared for this kind of onslaught. Oh, hang on. What am I thinking? Heaven hasn't ever been demonstrated. I'm preparing for a war against imagination. I can imagine up something to protect me from all that. I'll be fine. Carry on.
They have training fields. They're all in the sky of heaven.
And we're supposed to just accept all this because you say you've been there, Kat. I've been to the afterlife jungle where Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe, leaf be upon her, says you're full of crap. How can we demonstrate either one of us is telling the truth?
Ran maneuvers for ages. In the past, Jesus would go send Michael to gather the army from the far ends of heaven.
I guess now we know the answer to the age-old question. Where does Jesus keep his armies? Nope, not up his sleeveys, but in a magical floaty land that only Kat has seen. I don't think that answer will catch on somehow.
To fight on behalf of Israel. People say amen. It's in the Bible, go read it.
And yet, unfortunately, most Bible-believing Americans have preconceived ideas of what people that come from Israel are actually like. There's only one Bible I care about, the Book of Lisa. There's no child murder, slavery, or drowning entire civilizations in that book.
Now, people who like pink hair, they think is amazing, so the world must be passing their test, because they all love it.
What does having pink hair have to do with anything? Trying to add credibility to yourself by saying people that like pink hair think that what I'm saying is amazing. Oh, hang on, I have pink hair.
That's amazing. You look amazing. What do? I'm a spokesperson for heaven. I've been there. And then they all say the same thing. They don't say you're a liar, you're a false prophet. They don't say, they go, what was it like?
Just because people don't say it to you, Kat, it doesn't mean they don't think it. You may well be convinced you go to heaven, but until you can demonstrate it to be the case, I'm going to think that maybe you used one too many bottles of chemical-filled hair dye, and that's affected your perception of things.
What was it like? Is it beautiful? Is it amazing? Is it real? Is God real? Is there a God?
My bet is that she will say, yes, God is real, and yes, heaven is amazing, because she's hardly going to say the opposite to people who she needs to believe her so that she can get their money in talking to the dead readings later in life.
And go, oh, yeah, there is a God. And you lived inside of him before you came here.
I thought half of me lived in my dad and the other half in my mum. News to me, or maybe she's just making more stuff up. Just saying things doesn't make them true, Kat.
Okay, that makes them interested, not bashing. Amen? Try that next time.
Try what? What is she even saying? Why isn't anyone in the crowd shouting out that she's making 0 sense? Hey, Kat, might be time for a nap now.
You did live in him. Stones of fire. I found in one translation said that they were flaming stones that Satan left on some other planet.
Does anyone have any idea what she's saying?
That was in the Bible. And I already knew what they were, so God made me look up like 29 different translations to go see what they say it is. I'm like, they missed that one.
So there are 29 translations of something, and you're the only person that gets it because you go to heaven every weekend to chill with God. Sure, Kat. Nothing you have done here has demonstrated that. You've just said, yeah, sure, I have pink hair and go to heaven on the regs. At least try to explain how you got there and how you can prove it's real.
No, they didn't ever belong to Lucifer, okay? They were inside God, or he burns with this fire for you.
This is getting more and more bizarre. Like, I really don't have any clue what's happening now.
Under the water, they burn in the river of life that's in him. The river flows out of him. The gemstones flow out of him. Even the steps of the throne room have gemstones.
Is she describing what heaven's like? Saying a throne room has gemstones doesn't make it any more real. Demonstrate it, Kat.
They flow out of heaven and become the crystal sea. It's called the crystal sea because there's gemstones in it, not sand. That's why it's called crystal.
And saying that a sea has gemstones and not sand doesn't demonstrate that you go to heaven. So we're not actually getting anywhere, Kat.
Faceted gemstones. They're all over heaven. They all come from one place, from the Father. And the fire would burn inside of him, and Lucifer would step in, and there's this holy mountain inside God.
So hold up. Lucifer regularly goes to heaven too, like on a city break to have a vacation away from hell. And I'm confused. Is heaven inside God? Or just the mountain of gemstones? What use are gemstones in heaven? How is any of this relevant?
Say, God is not a man. He doesn't look the same inside that we do.
Kat, you're not supposed to eat those gemstones. Jeez. So you go to heaven, invite only. Okay then. The seas and rivers in heaven are lined with edible gemstones. And when I say edible, I mean they're edibles. And God lets you see inside it. Do you go in through its mouth or up the rear entrance? Is that why you're talking so much shit? No. I don't need to finish that. See what I mean about bonkers? Seriously, bonkers. I should really end there, but there's only another minute and a half of this video left to go, and I kind of want to see if it can get better. Or worse, if you know what I mean.
But we lived there. That's why we like sparkly things. Way back in our spirit man. We remember that.
Humans like things that are aesthetically pleasing, so that's proof that we live in God? I just can't anymore. This has gone beyond weird.
We remember that. There's something that connects when we look at something that's brilliant and beautiful. Gemstones represent the love of God. His love, his revelation upon this rock. I know he said Peter was a rock.
If we were to take a shot every time Kat said something absolutely mental, we'd have to go to hospital for stomach pumping. It wouldn't surprise me if she also sold gemstones and sold them after each talk, saying that each one represents the love of God. In Giraffe We Trust t-shirts represent the love of Lisa. Just so you know, coming soon.
When God says rock in the Bible, he's talking about a gemstone. You know that white rock or stone you're going to get when you go home to heaven, and there's a name on it that only he and you know? It's a white diamond. It's not a river rock.
Yeah, it's not river rock. I don't get it.
Every syllabus I ever saw showed a river rock when it talked about that stone. So inside is eternity you never see at the end.
Kind of like how I feel with this video, Kat.
There's no end inside of him. No end. And we ran up and down this mountain and we slid down the river of life and would jump on the stones of fire through the flames. We lived in those flames. You're about to get baptized with them.
I mean, if you made it to this point too, you deserve a bloody medal. Feel free to let me know in the section below that you made it to this point. So, what did we learn about travelling to heaven and back? Nothing. Not a sausage. But we do know that Kat thinks heaven is made out of gemstones and that people love her pink hair. Great. Skep tick that off as being no more evidence for heaven than we had before. A big thank you to this month's ticks on Patreon: MISM, Addy Rockart, the Enixes, Travis, and the absolute lunatic Jimmy, as well as all the base ticks. You can become a supporter on Patreon too at patreon.com/theskeptic. The link is in the description, along with links to all my other socials. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. From me, the Skeptic, stay safe, keep thinking logically, and ask questions. Skepticism is the first step towards truth. See you next Saturday.